All right, first and foremost, congratulations to Kobo for becoming a first-time belt winner. He crossed the $100,000 threshold in MCS earnings. Super impressive. This Most Harvest tournament, it was interesting, man. We got to watch 4 competitors, and in the 3 games that we watched them play, we got to watch 4 different starting quarterbacks. We got to watch 3 different offenses and 2 different defenses. In competitive Madden, something that is very copy and paste, especially inside of an Ultimate Team, where you can pick, a lot of people will copy each other's players. We saw a lot of variety. And I think if you're somebody who has been, reluctant in the past to watch competitive Madden or just Madden in general, whatever, because you see a lot of the same things over and over again, we're going to talk about that some, but this is one of the more different tournaments I've seen. Totally different offenses, a couple different defenses, and different quarterbacks for different play styles on offense. It's been a pretty big deal. So I want to talk about what we've seen, first and foremost, in the set feet lead ability. Henry was the only quarterback or only player to use that with his quarterback, Troy Aikman. And we got to see how good set feet lead is. Now, it's always really, really good. I think it's actually, I think it's too good for the game. But we're not going to go super deep into that. We got to see how powerful it was. And I do believe we're going to see a shift towards some of these slower quarterbacks like Troy Aikman who get set feet lead. And we're going to see people dotting with set feet lead, which is going to make defense super, super tough. I think it was an ability that a lot of people were kind of sleeping on this year just because they hadn't seen it on the main stage yet and because it costs so much AP. But Henry rocked an ability setup with 4 AP set feet lead, 3 AP slinger, and 1 AP gift wrap, meaning all 7 AP was on his quarterback, which is insane. Not a single route chem, and he didn't need a route chem. His offense looked great, for the majority of the tournament getting up here, and then obviously in the first game it looked great. Second game, he did get a little bit whatever by Kobo, but I still think that setup is really, really good. And set feet lead is just so powerful. The ball just zips in there. So I think that's one of the big things that we were able to take away from this tournament is just how powerful it was, especially considering Henry was willing to use it, right? To switch gears really fast and talk about defense, totally different defensive meta than what we've seen in a few years in Madden. So for someone who if anyone wants to, complain about loop blitzes or of, DB fire or something like that, that's not what we saw. We saw 4-3-6-1 ran by some serious. He ended up losing, but he made the Final Four, right, which is impressive. He ran 4-3-6-1, and he wasn't even so much sending, people know that formation for sending an all-out blitz out of it, but rather he was running a little bit of a disengaged style where he would do a lot of double mabling out of it. So double mabel means that you have a short flat zone and a deep flat zone on both sides of the field. And then he would send a 4-man rush where they'd kind of disengage in the middle. So you're looking for disengages basically, through the A and B gap, which is, a little different style. We haven't seen that in a few years now. And then the other 3 competitors, Henry, Too Tenacious, and Kobo, they all ran some variation of what's been kind of dubbed the W blitz from the beginning of the year, although it's set up a little bit differently now, where essentially on a nickel 3-3, you're looking to get a blitzing linebacker in through the A gap. We haven't seen an A gap blitz. I don't believe, I could be wrong on this, but I don't believe we've seen an actual blitz come free through the A gap consistently since like the old Crossfires, which were a loop blitz. I might be wrong on that, but assuming you're not counting like disengages, but nonetheless, this year, beginning of this year, we saw some 4-3-6-1 send everybody, and then we saw a lot of loop blitzes out of various formations. Really cool to see the meta change. This is what I'm such a huge advocate of. I want to see the meta change. I want to see the meta change. I want to see the meta change. In terms of playbooks and just offenses in general, we saw Henry and Too Tenacious, both in the Philadelphia Eagles playbook, running a lot of gun bunch, although they ran different quarterbacks, and Too Tenacious had some route chems, whereas Henry had no route chems. Too Tenacious also used Warren Moon, who is my least favorite quarterback that was used, but nonetheless. And then we also saw some serious in the gun spread, or not the gun spread, I'm sorry, but the spread / pass balance playbook. And he was running a lot of just kind of like, it's really considered Mickey Mouse bubblegum stuff, all the way from Gun Monster, running the ball, running some RPOs, et cetera, running a lot of gun double stack. But it was something different. It was something very off meta. And again, in competitive Madden where people say you can't run off meta stuff and be successful, there we go. We had someone make it. And he was running Lamar Jackson, who I think is a really good option at quarterback still. I think Lamar is a super good option. Now, we go to Kobo, who ended up winning the tournament, and he was running Bills trips tight end, which we have not seen at the competitive level a ton this year, unless you're big into like money games and like you're really in the know. he was running Bills trips tight end. And the reason he was in trips tight end out of Bills instead of out of another playbook like the Packers is because he liked the play called short post, and then he rocked it with Joe Montana at quarterback with Hot Route Master. So already we've seen 3 different quarterbacks, or actually we've seen all 4 quarterbacks now: Warren Moon, Troy Aikman, Joe Montana, and Lamar Jackson, for all different reasons, using different abilities across the board, different amount of route chems, et cetera, et cetera. That's cool, dude. That is really cool. What that tells you as a Madden player is that you can play the game and tailor it to how you want to play and be a successful Madden player, right? And some people will try to be like, oh, well, so-and-so didn't win the tournament, so is that good? These guys all made the Final Four, right? Even if they only made the top 100, it's pretty good still. You know what I mean? Like, they made the right, like, okay, we're all in agreement there. Really, really cool stuff right there, man. Really, really cool. I'm a huge fan of it. I think a big thing to consider, too, I always get this question, not even really a big thing to consider, but just something to keep in your mind for some people who aren't as familiar with, like, the different passing stuff. Everybody's using freeform. I don't know people's freeform settings, but I do get the question sometimes of, do I use freeform or classic? I believe everyone's using freeform, placement, and accuracy. I just don't know their, like, speed, their reticle speed. And, again, I just mentioned that because some people do ask about classic or not. And then a big defensive ability we saw come up big a few times for Henry. I don't know if everybody else was rocking this. I think so, at least to some extent, is that deep out and deep in ability on your high safeties. So many people are sitting in cover 2 shells of some sort, and really even like a cover 4 or cover 3, they help. They help a lot. The deep in zone KO and the deep out zone KO, such a good ability in Madden 24. I would probably say defensively, this is the best ability unless you're big into lurk artist for whatever reason for your defense. So just, again, something else to keep in mind. The only thing I could possibly wish for this tournament to have gone better is just a better finals game, just because it ended up being a blowout, which is never super exciting. Although we did have the disconnect, which was kind of funny, but nonetheless, really cool stuff overall across the board. Love seeing the meta change. We have season 3 coming up, which I think will come with an AP change too. I'm not super knowledgeable on that stuff, so I apologize. But we have season 3 coming up, which I assume should change the meta some as well. And then we're probably, less than a month out from another patch, which will change the game. The game, EA has done a good job of adding variety, parity, whatever you want to call it, to how you can play the game and be successful, which is such a big deal. And so many people, it's a huge complaint of people when it's not like this. So the fact that the game is tailored this way is really, really cool. Props to EA for that. You have to give them some props for that in the gameplay sector. And yeah, boys, we're going to have some breakdowns coming onto the channel here soon, so make sure you hit the subscribe button, be on the lookout for those, and I'll see you on the next video. And if you guys don't know, I do have a website that's linked to the top of the description called civil.gg. We teach Madden players how to get better at John Madden football. We have a bunch of schemes on offense and defense that are built for people of any skill level that can beat people of any skill level, okay? I consistently place in the top 100, usually around the top 64 to 32 range at these MCS tournaments, and I teach every single thing that I do. A lot of members have had a lot of success. A lot of schemes are built for everything, pro tips, all that good stuff. Code PREMIUM does get you 25% off, so make sure if you're going to become a member, use code PREMIUM so you get a couple bucks off. And again, 25% off the yearly is a good amount of money as well. So make sure you guys do check that out, and I'll see you inside. All right, boys.